Hello, travelers. Welcome to Reach the World. For over 20 years, Reach the World has used virtual exchange to inspire youth to become curious, confident, and compassionate global citizens. My name is Tim, and I'm so glad you're joining us for today's Meet the World event. The Meet the World program builds positive personal connections between students in the US and global cultures, all through direct interactions with real people who are excited to share their countries and cultures with you. For a complete listing of upcoming Meet the World live stream events, you can go visit athome.reachtheworld.org. Today, we're connecting with Brigita Gaeilge. She's a Fulbright foreign language teaching assistant from Cork, Ireland. She's actually calling in from Cork, Ireland today, though in about a week and a half, she's going to be coming to the United States and teaching Irish at Elms College in Massachusetts. She is going to be telling us today a little bit more about the Irish language, some of its distinct poetry, and how music, geography, and history all play a huge role in Irish culture. I personally can't wait. Before I turn things over to Brigita, though, I want to welcome the teachers and students who are joining today's Meet the World live stream event. Please feel free to use the YouTube chat bar to let us know you're here, where you're joining from, and of course, to share any questions you have for Gita as we go. We'll get to as many questions as we can in the next 30 minutes. And without delay, I think we should take a journey to Ireland. Brigita, welcome to Reach the World.
Thank you very much. So Gaeilge. Hello, everybody. And my name is Brigita Gaeltacht, or you guys can refer to me as Gita. All my friends and family do. And I'm a Fulbright language teaching assistant working in Elms College this year, teaching the Irish language and sharing the culture. So I'm really excited to be with you guys today, and I hope to just share my language and my culture with you. And yeah, so I suppose let's get started. So I will share my screen, and here we go. So welcome everybody, and today I will talk about the Irish language and culture. So who am I? My name is Brigita Gaeltacht, and I'm from Gaeilge in Cork in Ireland. And I'm actually coming to you from Ireland today. My travels have been delayed due to COVID-19, but I'm hoping to be in the States in the next 2 weeks. I'm a Fulbright language teaching assistant working in Elms College in Chicopee, Massachusetts. So I'm really enjoying my classes there thus far and getting to know everybody. I am a French and Irish teacher here in Ireland. I just qualified this year with a Master's in Education from University College Cork in the south of Ireland. So why am I here to discuss the Irish language and culture? So I'm sure many of you have either heard of the Irish language, are aware of maybe Irish music, Irish dancing. We have a very strong culture here in Ireland, and because of river dance, because of Irish traditional music, a lot of people know about it around the world. So the Irish language is still very much used in Ireland, although many people do actually consider it a dead language, and that's completely not true. And I'm going to show you why exactly in this presentation, how it's still very much alive today in Ireland and around the world. Our language is very much rooted in culture and history, and it's a very central part of our heritage. Although Irish people have faced famine, mass immigration and colonization, our language has survived until today, and it's very much a piece of us and a piece of our history, and a piece of history to those with Irish heritage around the world. Something that we really need to celebrate because it's been kept alive until today. And Irish has connected me to so many people around the world. It has a global community. Like, I'm now teaching Irish on a different continent. So it just shows how much of a community is there. And when you have a connection with somebody in a different country because of Irish, you know, it's an instant almost friendship because you have something in common, you know. So what I'm going to discuss today, we'll first discuss the Irish language and then how the Irish language is used today. Why I chose to study Irish in the first place, what the Irish language has meant for me, and mainly that's brought me to point number 5. It's meant for me to be part of this global Gaeilge or Irish community. How it's part of our heritage, our culture, and our history. And then I hope to do a little bit of Irish with you guys as well. So you'll have a little piece of Gaeilge coming away from this presentation. So the Irish language. Irish is actually a Celtic language and sounds different to many Romantic languages such as French, Italian, and Germanic languages such as English or German. Irish is very similar to Scots, Gaelic, to Welsh, Manx, Cornish, and Breton in this way because it's a Celtic language. How many people speak it in Ireland? Over 1 million people in Ireland can speak Irish, and it's recognised as our first official language in Ireland. And about 73,000 people say they use it on a daily basis outside of education. It's mandatory in schools here in Ireland to study Irish until the age of 18. But many people use Irish in their daily lives in designated Gaeltacht areas and actually beyond these areas as well. But a Gaeltacht area is an area in Ireland where Irish is the medium in which people speak. So in the post office, in restaurants, in cafes, in schools, Irish is used as the main language. But around Ireland and in different places outside of the Gaeltacht, it is used as well because many people do use it in their daily lives. In Ireland, we have a couple of different Gaeltacht areas or Gaeltacht. So we have a lot in the south, in the west, and in the north as well, and a couple in the east as well. So I live just around here in Cork, and beside me we have An Rhine or Ring in County Waterford, in West Cork. There are Gaeltacht areas near Ballyvourney. Then you have the Dingle Peninsula as well, where Irish is spoken. Then we have a lot of Gaeltacht areas around Connacht, and also up the north near Donegal. In Ireland, because we have a couple of different Gaeltacht areas and Irish varies a little bit from area to area. So in Munster or Cork, where I live, the Irish might sound a little bit different to how it's spoken in Connacht or how it's spoken in Ulster. Now, people from these different areas will understand each other, but different phrases can sound a little bit different. So to give you an example, in Munster, where I come from down here, we will ask, how are you, as Conasatatu. Then in Connacht, it changes slightly, and they will ask each other, Hinquiawiltu. And then in Ulster, they'll ask each other, Kare Maratatu, to ask, how are you? So you can see it differs slightly in different community, but people from different dialects can understand each other. Learning Irish in school. Students study Irish from the age of 5 until 18. Now, some children do study it before the age of 5. You can go to preschool here in Ireland where you actually learn through Irish as well. But most people study it from the age of 5 until 18. Some students attend education through Irish as a toddler, through primary school and through secondary school as well. So you can do your whole schooling through the medium of Irish. So every subject can be done through Irish. So you can learn French through Irish or Spanish through Irish as well. And a lot of college lectures for teachers or for students studying the language are done through Irish as well. So it's very much used in education as well today. Services as Gaeilge. In Ireland, by law, every governmental service must be available to you in Irish upon request, like the post office, or you can even ask to do your driving test in Irish as well. Why I chose to study Irish. I loved Irish in school. I had great teachers in school and I really took to it. And I loved the poetry behind the language, especially. The language is so rooted in poetry, and the way things are expressed are so beautiful. So like saying, for example, I love you, can be McGrahu, you are my love, or some people say Maciolhu, which means you are my music, you know, so it's really, really beautiful as a language. In school, I helped set up a club co-raw, which is a conversational group. And I think from that, using Irish and talking to people through Irish and actually seeing it in this fun and lively way really helped, you know, that love of the language with me. And when I got to college, then that the language helped me to make a lot of friends and to become part of this community of people who love the language, who love to promote it and use it in our daily lives. So Irish has helped me to get to know so many wonderful people. I mean, Irish is the reason that I am teaching in Elms College this year. You know, it's helped me to get to know so many people with backgrounds, with language or with heritage as well. And we all share that love for the language and its history. When I was in college, I became part of Orsihuma, which was a residential scheme for speaking Os Gaeilge. So you moved into apartments with other people who spoke the language. And what it was a community of Irish speakers, and it was to promote the language and to show people that yes, it's used today, and yes, people in university are using it, and we're doing it because we love it and it's fun. And we used to organize so many events for the Irish language. Ball na Gaeilge. So we had a ball where we all dressed up in formal wear. You can see a picture of two of us here. And we danced to Irish songs. We spoke in Irish for the night. Just had a great time. Tara agus Islam, come dine with me. We made dinners through the Irish language, and we shared them with each other. And we went bowling in Gaeltacht. We had a week of Irish events that we organised as well, or helped to organise. Our club chora, our conversational speaking group. And the thing is, with these conversational groups or with Orsihuma, when I entered, my Irish needed a lot of improvement. But from living there and doing events through the language, my language actually improved a lot. So it doesn't have to be perfect. The thing is, it's to use what you have, you know, and meeting people with a similar interest of the language actually helps you develop it yourself. And also we attended events like the Oireachtas, and we went to Dingle together. And the Oireachtas is like a big music festival for people who love the Irish language. You know, you're speaking it all weekend. You're listening to traditional Irish bands. You're listening to, you know, modern music with people speaking or singing Os Gaeilge. You know, it's wonderful. There's so many resources out there that can be used today. So these are just a couple of photographs from when I was in college, and these are some of the people I met through my time, and I wouldn't have become friends with them without the language. You know, it was our common tie, and Gaelic gelato as well. You can see, even going for ice cream, Os Gaeilge was great fun. In Ireland, you can spend time in a Gaeltacht area to improve your Irish, and I did that in UCC. A lot of colleges will offer scholarships for you to go for a week or maybe more to a Gaeltacht area, so you can spend time there, indulge yourself in the culture, use your language with other people, improve on grammar and vocabulary, but also just using it in your everyday life. Really helps because you're applying what you're learning in a classroom to real life everyday situations. So it's a great chance to use it and get to know people as well. And especially from my time, I spent time as a Kinnera working in Irish colleges. So you're kind of a camp counsellor as such when you work as a Kinnera. And you're helping students to learn Irish while you're there. You can go to different Gaeltachts, like in Ballyvourney and Dingle or Ring, you know, and you can get to know different people, get to hear different accents, pick up lovely phrases that are used on a local basis. So your knowledge of the language if you go to different Gaeltacht areas, you know, improves, and you can share what you've learned with others. So like when I was teaching Irish in secondary schools, or when I'm teaching in Nelms, I can share knowledge from different Gaeltacht areas, or how it's said in different regions in Ireland. So these are just a couple of photographs from the Gaeltacht. As you can see, a lot of it is really scenic places in Ireland, especially Dingle. These photographs are all from the Dingle Peninsula, and they're all taken on the beach, and it's a really scenic and beautiful area, especially on a good summer's day. On Gaeltacht, in many universities in Ireland, they will have a society for promoting the Irish language and for using the Irish language. And there are many societies outside of universities as well that do this. I became part of a committee to develop the language around campus and to use it and organize events. And this was to promote it on a wider scale in the campus. We hosted events during our Irish Language Week. And we also established a radio program on UCC 98.3 FM that used the language in a modern way. We played Irish music, but we also had people on every week, you know, people who had traveled to China on their Erasmus or on their year abroad to talk about their experience, but to talk about Irish and what it meant for them over there, and to speak in the language, to talk about people who were in first year of college, how they were getting on. And this was all done through the medium of Irish, to show people that yes, this is used every day and a lot of people have it, and to use what you have. And also Córá Fiche Car as well, or Córá Fiche, we're doing this year as well in Elms. Córá is with Conran and Gaeilge, and it ties a lot of Irish language communities together. And you speak, well, it'll be via Zoom this year, to each other, and get to know one another, because it's a global community. Even on the topic of global community, I spent some time in Rennes during my studies, and Irish in Rennes actually was spoken. So when I chose to go to Rennes, because there's a Celtic culture in Brittany, they speak Breton. And Breton and Irish are linked because they're two Celtic languages. So I chose to go there to study Breton, but I actually also took Irish classes. And there were French people learning Irish, and it helped me get to know some French people. And also a lot of them had a history with Breton, so I got to learn some of their language as well. And it just shows that Irish does not just exist in Ireland alone. It exists in France, it exists in Germany, it exists in Slovakia, it exists in America, in Canada, the list goes on. There are people all around the world learning this language, and it connects you to so many people in a kind of exciting way. As I said, there are many different places around the world where Irish is being spoken, and maybe there's a lot more that I don't know about, but I'm excited to learn about those places as my journey with Irish continues, and I hope maybe some of you will be inspired to do so as well. So Irish is very deeply rooted in our history and culture. Keep calm and say Gaeilge. It survived colonization, mass immigration, and still today people learn the language. Irish is going from strength to strength, and today it's actually very fashionable to speak Irish. And a lot of people, even who just learned it in school, a lot of my friends who just learned it in school will say to me, you know, they wish they still spoke their cúpla focal or their couple of words. They wish they could still use them. But the thing is, like, even if you have just a couple of words, it's so great to use it, because that's our language, you know, that's what connects us to each other. That's part of our history. So it's really lovely to use what we have, whether it's a few words or whether it's a few sentences or whether you can speak fluently. Gaeilge. Gaeilge means hello, but Gaeilge, literally translated, means God be with you. Dia is God. So I say it's very interlinked with our history. Ireland, going back in history, was very predominantly Catholic, and religion was taken very seriously. So saying to someone, hello, or God be with you, was just a lovely greeting to say to someone, because you're saying you want God to be with them, and you want blessing to be upon them as such. So dia gwit. So that's your first little bit of Irish, dia gwit. Continuing on, this is one I used a little bit earlier in the talk. Maciolhu. So this was a phrase that I picked up from an old roommate of mine, and she had beautiful, beautiful Irish. And she taught me this phrase. So I used to use McGrawhu for I love you, but Maciolhu means you are my music. So, it's like the person who you love is the music inside you, the beauty, the poetry, everything inside you. So Irish has some phrases that are so beautiful and that mean so much more than the literal sense. God be with you, or Maciolhu, you are my music. There are some really gems in the language that you wouldn't find in a lot of other languages. And then another one that I particularly like, because I say it quite often, to ochris an down aram. This means I'm very hungry, but literally translated, it means the hunger of the world is on me. So you're saying that you are super, super, super hungry. And I think the Irish language really encapsulates what a lot of us are feeling when we're very hungry, because the hunger of the world is on you, so tá ochras an down aram. So a lot of Irish is really beautiful and very expressive as a language. So a little summary of my presentation. The Irish language is growing in popularity day by day, with so many so many people and young people learning and speaking in Ireland. But also it's going from strength to strength around the world. The language is deeply rooted in history and culture. But a modern life can be shown upon it with modern events, scholarships used by universities, as well as Fulbright scholarship as well, has given me the opportunity to share Irish with a global community and get to know people in the States who are also sharing their culture and their Irish heritage with me. And also using social media. I mean, social media has brought on Irish so much, and there's so many resources there we can use. So in my opinion, the Irish language is not dead. It's very much more alive, more so than ever, because its beauty and its poetry and its history has really inspired so many people to learn it today. So that's the Irish language from me. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation, and I hope maybe some of you will learn a little bit more Gaeilge out of this, but I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you very much.
Gita, that was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks
how
very
fascinating. I have a question or two online that I'm going to share. I'm going to hang on to for just a minute, because I'm curious about this idea of like pockets of Irish speaking communities on mostly the west coast of Ireland, and how if you were really interested in immersing yourself in what feels like a slightly different culture within a culture, you could almost study abroad in your own country.
Exactly.
Is that accurate?
That's very accurate. That's very accurate. So a lot of people here in Ireland, to improve their Irish, want to use it on a daily basis or throughout the day. So whether you're in secondary school or high school, you can go to the Gaeltacht during the summer, or students in college can go to the Gaeltacht during the summer, or if you're an adult, you can go to the Gaeltacht during the summer. There are courses that you can find there to take to improve your language on a formal way. But then outside of the courses, there are events on. There are people who are more than willing to speak it with you. The local community are speaking in Irish. So it's a great opportunity to go to these places to immerse yourself completely in the language.
That's very interesting. It seems like there's a real national pride in the language, and it makes sense given how connected the language is to the culture in throughout Ireland. I want to bring in a question from online. The question was, we know that you are very shortly going to be in Massachusetts, and you've already started teaching in Massachusetts, teaching the Irish language remotely. But are you hoping to create sort of your own pocket of Irish-speaking people and give them that immersive experience while you're here as a Fulbright scholar?
I'm hoping anyway. At the moment, we are actually working on establishing a Conradh na Gaeilge in Massachusetts. So in Western Massachusetts. So a Conradh na Gaeilge is an organization in Ireland that promotes the use of the language and speaking the language very much so. So we've had a couple of meetings on establishing a branch in Western Massachusetts. So hopefully that will we'll be able to do some events completely through the language, and people will be able to come together and share it as well. So in the classroom, I hope to create that kind of environment and community as well, but outside the classroom to give some people a kind of social outlet to use the language as well. Hopefully, anyway, it all works out.
Well, good luck with that. That sounds really interesting. As you and I discussed before, I'm from Chicago. I know there are lots of Irish speakers in Chicago. It's cool to see pockets of Irish speaking communities all over the US and really around the world. Further evidence that it is definitely not a dead language. I know when you come to the United States, we're all sort of dealing with the coronavirus and the pandemic right now, but when you're able to get out and explore, what are you looking forward to doing in the United States?
Well, I'm hoping to really experience American culture as well while I'm there, you know. Like so many things I know have been put on pause with coronavirus, but even experiencing going to a baseball game, you know, maybe getting to see more of Massachusetts as well. And so many of my students have been telling me are so connected to West Kerry with Western Massachusetts, you know, so getting to experience the Irish culture that's there. But also I'm looking forward to experiencing American culture and experiencing, you know, I'm a huge foodie as well. I'm not going to lie, you know, so I'm looking forward to tasting American food and, you know, all this food you see on the television. So there's a lot of food elements. That's why I use the hunger of the world is on me, but also the American culture and that the baseball game. Hopefully I'll get to one. Even I know with coronavirus it's going to be more difficult, but you know, there's a lot of American culture I'm really looking forward to experiencing myself.
Very cool. Well, I'm appreciative on behalf of everybody that you're bringing your skills and talents and the Irish language to the United States this year. And I hope you get all of those experiences and more. I just out of curiosity, is there a particular American food that you're most excited about?
I think one, it doesn't seem to be quite as big a thing here in Ireland. So I'm looking forward to experiencing in America is donuts.
Yeah.
A huge thing in the US that we don't have here. So I'm looking forward to getting an authentic donut in a proper place. So if you have any recommendations, maybe I'll take that.
Excellent. That's a great place to start. Highly recommended. Well, Gita, thank you so much for joining Reach the World today and telling us all about Ireland and the Irish language. I thought it was fascinating. I want to thank you also to our entire live stream audience for going on this journey with us today. Reach the World will be hosting many more Meet the World live stream events in the weeks and months to come. So you're invited to join us virtually anytime. We're going to be traveling around the world, talking to lovely people like Gita all year long. You can visit athome.reachtheworld.org for more information. And until then, thank you again, and we will see you all next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.